All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the coin and welcome to That's Life podcast. We were unavailable for the past week or so. Yeah, it's been about a week, couple of weeks. No, it's not been a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks ago, we had an episode.
Like
It's
one
been
week and a
probably,
half, no?
yeah, 1 week and a half. As we said, these things will happen every now and then, but we're here back and there's so much to talk about. There's actually a lot of happy things to talk about. So we're going to touch base on that. Ryan, first of all, how you doing, my man?
Yes, I'm going good, bro. Good. Tuned into your post-match video today. You're busting all kind of analogies, things that I don't know if I can relate to. You're talking about it's like having a night with a girl where you have the best night and you just release everything and you just sitting back watching the sky. I was like, what review is this, bro? What website am I? Is it YouTube.com or some kind of hub or
Uh,
something?
it was
But yeah.
definitely over 18s, bro. Definitely over 18s.
Yeah, over eight, that's life podcast plus 18, right? Well,
R rated, bro.
yeah,
R rated.
yeah, nah, but it's been good, bro. It's good. So, I'm happy to be here, especially, it's been a week and a half, but I feel like
Mm,
with the time it's been, we have like so much good stuff to talk about. So it's fun
no,
and exciting.
100%, man. So many good moments. I mean, I think international break was the last time we spoke, and there was a lot of nonsense that was happening with the ownership situation. Since then, fantastic win against Bournemouth, even though we didn't play well, but I like that type of, victories, getting away from that situation, picking up the 3 points. And then we had a victory against West Ham, very good victory against West Ham. That was really a statement one. And then we had another victory midweek against Barrow, albeit Barrow second division, um, League Two, not even League One. So Championship, League One, League Two. And then
Yeah.
this performance, wild, wild, but the 3 points is so, so important. So we're on a four-match winning streak, and you can see players are very focused. They're not getting carried away. Some parts of the fan base are getting carried away, but that's going to happen. But overall, most parts of the fan base are quite calm and quite level grounded, and they know that it's just one game at a time. We'll see what we're building. Maresca has been talking the talk. He's making a lot of sense. He's quite bullish about what he's saying as well in the press conference. And he's not fluffing anything. Players, as I said, they look focused, they look sharp.
Yeah.
But of course, there's things that we need to get better and all that. That's not a problem. What I want to ask you, Ryan, to kick things off, how you feeling, man? Like I saw your message yesterday halftime, and I called you. I think you might have been busy, and you said Chelsea's back. Our Chelsea's back. I mean, is that how you feel?
Well, I think leading up to this match, maybe that's why I messaged you to do this podcast a few days ago.
Mhm.
I was like, it's the first time I'm coming into a match where I feel a bit of butterflies, where I
Mm,
feel a bit of anticipation that, you know, it's been a couple of years now that I haven't felt that feeling where you're looking
mm,
forward for Chelsea to play. You know it's coming up in 4 days, in 3 days, in 2 days, you're counting down in your head because I felt it was such a big match to see if are we actually turning this corner or not.
yep.
Are we gonna make it 4-4? We've seen a lot of good things, one step at a time, one step. And I think this game was a big test. I think this is Brighton's first loss of the season. Am I right or
That
wrong?
is correct.
First,
First
right.
loss of the season.
So
Yes.
they're coming in with good form, and it felt huge for me. And
Mm,
not to go on too long from your question, but when I saw the personality today going
mm,
1-0 down, but every single movement of the game had a certain urgency and
yeah.
intensity. When the goalkeeper made some mistakes, our guys had the chins up, the chest
Yeah.
puffed out, and they
Yep.
went for the kill. And
Yep.
man, I was so proud because it felt like we win the ball back, we were tenacious, long ball straight in behind,
Yep.
running on straight into goal. It felt like like an old Chelsea, an old friend. Like I saw an old friend for the first time in a while. The Chelsea that we know what they even has that on the counter attack.
Yeah.
With Pedro bursting through and Diego Costa. That's how it kind of felt like that again, an old friend. Man, that's why when I messaged you and said, you know what? Chelsea is back. And maybe it was on emotion. Obviously, it's on emotion. But I
Yeah.
mean, what would loving and following a club be without emotion? So,
100%, man. I mean, if even me as a fan, when we conceded that goal and it was a mistake, obviously I was a bit upset initially with I don't know what Robert Sanchez was doing. He was just flying at it.
Wait, did you read that message too? Where I sent about Robert Sanchez.
Yeah, but brother, I better start learning to speak Arabic, bro. It's time to go to study. Nah, you're like, I mean, I was just shocked as to because the guy, the Brighton guy, Ruta, I think his name is, he went up and he headed it, and then I'm like, where's my goalkeeper? Like, and then I realized that my
Looking
goalkeeper,
for with
he's,
Cucurella.
he went forward to punch the ball, which he completely missed, and then he was on the floor. And I'm like, why would you do that? If you just stayed in your goals, I think it would have just been a regulation. The ball would have just come straight to him. But I didn't dwell on it for too long. I was like, I'm so confident we're going to come back because Brighton will give it an opportunity and we will come back from it. I never felt that way previously, Ryan, where opposition would concede and I'd be like, oh my God, I think it might be over, But this one, I was like, nah, this has got a long way to go. And literally moments later, when they scored, honestly, like I expected, Ryan, that, and I said in my preview, it's going to be 3-0. I actually watch Brighton a lot. And I said that Brighton are always susceptible in defense. They play 1v1 kind of football.
Like Bundesliga as football, no?
Yes. And they're always bound to make an error. Always. And it's about
Oh
us
my God.
to pounce on it.
Well,
And
dude,
the way they capitulated, Ryan, it was
it's
unbelievable.
amazing. It was amazing. It was like Enzo Maresca. It showed me today that our type of football, Enzo Maresca's philosophy, is to
Mm,
win football matches.
yeah.
The philosophy is not the possession football, the low block, the mid block, the overload, this and that. The philosophy is where could I hurt this team? Let's try to hurt this team and get 3 points. And my boy, you asked me what do I want from Enzo Maresca a few months ago when I didn't know anything about him. I said that's the only thing I could ask for. Find ways
Mm,
to win football matches, step by step, make it become a habit, and then the rest will fall into place. And that's what he's done. That's what he's done. But Miz,
mm.
I think it's really important. I have a few topics I want to talk about today.
Go ahead,
Few
bro.
ones, big ones I
Mm,
want to talk about. And let's talk about the match first. Match first. Because
yeah,
we always talk about long term, our club and this and that. Let's talk about match first.
sure.
I want to know your thoughts on Nicholas Michael Jackson.
Oh my days. Thriller. Thriller.
Do
Bro,
you
okay.
think he needs to beat it, as people would say?
Beat it. Beat it. Oh, bro, Michael Jackson had some mad songs.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is this is a very touchy topic, and I'm glad you brought this up.
Touch me, bro.
Literally,
Wait, what?
literally moments ago, I was fighting with a brother on my
Why?
comments on my because this guy. I'm actually gonna say out his name, Marvo. Marvo. I'm pretty sure you're watching this.
Oh my God.
This guy, for some reason, out of my entire post match review, where I was so ecstatic, so happy, praised so many players, talked so, you know, proudly about Cole Palmer. He picked out the two moments where I talked about Jackson and Madueke. And literally, out of the whole video, that was the most smallest part. And he's harping on about, oh, it's almost as if you wanted these guys to do badly so you can say to everyone, I told you so. And I'm like, dude, It's not about that. And this is why I'm glad you brought up this question. And I've always said this, Ryan, always said this, and I'm not going to deviate away from it. Nicholas Jackson, there is a lot of good about him. He got an assist, by the way, in this game for Cole Palmer. There's a lot of good about Nicholas Jackson where he can link up. He's got the pace. And overall, he works really hard off the ball. One thing I've always said about Nicholas Jackson, though, he's highly inconsistent. Highly inconsistent. If this brother can put on a regular basis 7s or 8s out of 10, I'm so happy. I am so happy. Now, that 7 or 8 doesn't necessarily need to be a goal or an assist. Just overall package is good. But this brother has literally gone from banging in a 9, 9.5 against West Ham to almost borderline embarrassment. He himself could have scored 4. He was so embarrassed when he was taken off, he had to put his shirt on his face. He was so embarrassed. That
Yeah,
goal that he missed, where it was an open goal, he beat the keeper. The amount of time he took to wrap his leg around to go for the shot, the defender came in
yeah,
and blocked it. And there was many other instances like that. Now, Brighton is a team, Ryan, that honestly we could have scored 10. So they will give you chances. And we've got players that can hurt. But what if we come up against, very, very soon, we're going to come up against Liverpool. We're going to again come up against Man City. Arsenal, we're going to come up against.
yeah.
If my man is Jackson up front, I need him to
Nicholas.
finish. I need him to finish,
Okay.
Ryan.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Okay. I will. You know what, bro? I agree with you 100%.
First of
You
all,
know,
Ryan, before you give me your opinion, anything that I've just said, because people out there always come back at me and they say I'm negative. Anything that I've just said about Nicholas Jackson, was it out of line? Was it, Miz, this is too much from you? Was any of it out of line?
no, bro. I think Marvo needs to, learn the game of football. He needs to learn the way of football of tactics. I'm bringing out my Spanish Italian accent because I think I think he knows the game like we do. Okay, I'm joking. But I don't think he knows the ins and outs of the game. Trust me, I draw diagrams on Twitter. I know what I talk about. I know the game. But honestly, bro, I agree 100%. Comments like that. I think, bro, I don't know anybody who loved Chelsea more than you because sometimes Chelsea would lose and I would go about my day, go about my life. But when Chelsea lose, I know that Mrs. Day is ruined. Like I watch your videos, I see you look like you want to cry. I always tell my mom like, "Yo, Miz is like most passionate, most committed Chelsea fan that I know. Like waking up
Come on,
4
man.
a.m. in the morning, 3 a.m. in the morning, quarreling in front of his mic, talking to random people from all over the world because just loves football and Chelsea. So,
Mm,
bro, I would say this. I brought up this question, getting back on the topic, is
yeah.
that I agree. I think I said last podcast, not Michael, I mean, Nicholas Jackson is the most,
Man
has
actually
to be
thinks it's
the,
Michael Jackson.
yeah, yeah. Nicholas Jackson is the most frustrating Chelsea
Mm,
player on our team, right?
yeah.
Because of the chances he misses, and I feel he does all the hard things correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
He does all the hard things correct, and then the one thing where in that second where he's supposed to shoot, he takes an extra touch. I
Yep.
think that's a common thing that he does. But I would say that today I learned a lesson that in my assessment,
Mm.
I think that Nicholas Jackson is undroppable in Chelsea.
Mm. I
Boy, oh
told you,
boy,
right, Ryan, that there's a lot of good about him, though. There is a
undroppable.
lot of good.
No, and I would go and say him and Madueke is undroppable in my eyes. And both players, let me tell you something, both players
Mm.
frustrate the living shit out of me. I'll be cussing in front of my TV. I hate, like, when they miss, I just feel I just feel so angry because, you know, but I do realize that these two players, man, they're so hungry to do well. And in
Mm.
each moment in the game, their work rate is so incredible.
Yeah.
Miss, and work rate is one thing. Off the ball, I would say, I'll start off, I'm going to say a few points there, so let me cook, right? But
Mm.
off the ball work rate, man, that every time Brighton tried to build out of play, Madueke and Nicholas Jackson were like
Pressed.
pit
Pressed.
bulls.
Yeah.
And
Pressed.
even when we conceded, we were 1-0 down, they pressed. And it wasn't only a tactic because when Pedro Neto and Kunku came on, I watched these two guys. I was like, what you come to do, man? You come to get front row seats? Because these guys, yeah,
I love it. I
I
love
was
it.
like, I watch Nkunku there just jogging around, walking around, but
Mm.
I just see Nicholas Jackson run his heart out for 75 minutes. I see Madueke. I know the thing is, these guys played together a while now, and I like that we have so much players, but Pochettino, it felt like you couldn't guess his lineup.
Mm.
Every
Mm.
week was a new front three. But you see this front three here with Nicholas Jackson, Madueke, and now, well, Sancho's the next deal, which I think is a huge signing for us. He's going to be huge for us. But you see, that little combination between Cole Palmer, Nicholas Jackson, and Madueke, as soon as Enzo or Caicedo or Cole Palmer wins the ball or gets the ball, they know exactly where Madueke or Nicholas Jackson is going to be.
Mm.
Or
Mm.
not only those three, whenever Cucurella wins the ball, anybody
Yeah.
in our defensive phase or midfield phase
They
wins
know
the
where they
ball,
are.
they
They know
know
where they are.
they know exactly where. And these guys, the IQ and the work rate they have to get and continuously run at defenders in behind, I think is fantastic how they read the game. It's
Mm.
fantastic how much they want to impact the game. Because sometimes I would think like, in Nkunku, do you really want? Because it
Yes.
looks like you're afraid to get the ball sometimes. Do you want this ball or not? Anytime I see Madueke and Nicholas Jackson, it's like they starve, they suffer when they don't have the ball. They
Mm.
suffer when they don't make a run. They're hungry to do well, miss. And let me tell you, the chances these two people miss, I get angry with it, but I say, you know what? They much they bring to this team. And I would add in a next thing, not only mentality,
Mm.
but and I think the mentality did improve from last season, which is why I believe that they should continue to start. But also,
Mm.
both are powerful, strong players, man. Quick, powerful. No defender could get them off their feet unless they dive, unless they want to go down. No, but players cannot pull Madueke off unless they foul him. They cannot get Nicholas Jackson off the ball unless they foul him. Both are so quick, they just effortlessly run past defenders, man.
Mm.
They are so well. And I think that when, as much as I love Felix, as much as I love Nkunku, and probably Neto too, I
Mm.
feel like when we bring them on, as much as they're good individually skilled,
Yeah.
when we bring them on, something changes. It's not a coincidence that anytime those players come on, we don't get much chances again.
Mm. The only thing that I will sort of provide in this perception of yours is, first of all, I agree with you with the Nicholas Jackson. I've actually got no qualms about whether it's Jackson or Nick or Christopher Nkunku. I've actually recently said a couple of things about both these players. I think Christopher Nkunku, if you just isolate the chances, just hear me out now. If you just isolate the chances that Jackson had, and you put Nkunku, I think Nkunku puts those chances away.
But will he
However,
get those chances?
so
Will he
so
get?
however,
Yeah,
does Nkunku work hard
hard enough to get them.
to get those chances? Probably not, because
No.
Jackson's it's so evident. It's so evident that the way Jackson presses, the way Jackson works, and I literally said this just before you made your comment that Jackson's off the ball work rate is immense.
Yeah,
Everything about him, there is something about him, but it's that final third. It's almost as if Jackson had Nkunku's level of finishing, this is not a discussion.
it's not.
this this is literally then not a discussion. So those two players, I understand what you're saying. We need to find a different solution for Nkunku, or maybe we need to get Nkunku to do a lot more. But that will park for a second. Madueke, however, once again, Ryan, I'm with you. I've said it many a times. A lot of people are fed up, and I've said that, oh, why are you fed up now? I thought not that long ago when he scored that hat trick, he was the bee's knees, right? And I said that once again, there is a player in Madueke. There's a lot of things that's good about him.
Yep.
But similarly with Nicholas Jackson, the final third disarrays him.
Yep.
However, in this argument, this is where I don't agree with you. I do think we have a replacement. I do think we have a player that can genuinely work just as hard as Madueke off the ball, and that's Pedro Neto. I think Pedro Neto has that engine, has that desire to track back, to work hard. He's quite physical. You can't just bump Pedro Neto off the ball. But I do agree when it's Pedro Neto, when it's João Felix, when it's Nkunku, I think the balance becomes a little bit crazy.
No,
But
I
if you
would
were
say.
to keep Jackson, but simply swap Madueke with Pedro Neto, I don't think
I
you're going to
think
get too much of difference. In fact, I actually think you're going to get a little bit more upfront from
see,
Pedro Neto.
I think the difference, and I would say this though, I'm not gonna
Mm,
categorize Jackson and Madueke in the same bracket too much,
okay.
because Nicholas Jackson does so well at bringing others into the game.
That's true. That's very
Nicholas
true.
Jackson, I would say that a lot of people say, "Yo, you're stingy. He's stingy. I don't like him. He's stingy." I mean, I like my strikers to be stingy,
Mm.
but best believe I feel like when Nicholas Jackson holds play, more than not, he finds the right pass and he finds the right pass at the right time.
I
All
mean,
those
look at how many
breakaways,
times he's assisted
all
Cole Palmer.
yeah, all those breakaways today,
Mm.
he he send those he doesn't waste. So weird. He doesn't waste times on passes under pressure, but he wastes time when it's time to shoot. It's almost like
Yes.
he's not a striker. It's
Yes.
almost he's like a left winger or something, or or like a center forward instead of a striker. But
So second striker or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, a center forward. Yeah, I think with Pedro Neto versus Madueke, I
Mm.
think what I like about Madueke is just that I feel like Pedro Neto, he does have that speed and work rate, but he
Mm.
doesn't have the understanding with the players around him yet. And that's not to show his talent, that's just because he's now joined and he's
He's
getting
just
minutes now.
joined. Yeah.
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 Because I feel like when Pedro Neto is playing, I just find his distance is just always too far away from the rest of the players.
Mm.
Like when Madueke is playing, the distance is so close to Jackson and Cole Palmer and these guys because they have this understanding with each other, how to
Yeah.
bounce off each other, how to run in behind when playing with each other, this and that. When Pedro Neto is on the ball or making runs, I feel like his distance is just so far away from the other players. It's hard to get him to combine with the
Yep.
other players. He just feels alienated. He just reminds me like you could see that physically and mentally he's there, but not
Mm.
chemistry wise yet. So that's the only way I'd put Madueke above that. I feel like, and it's so weird because it feels like you could feel like Sancho has been playing with his Chelsea team as long as Madueke and Jackson, but when he put in Pedro Neto, it feels like he's a new player.
Mm.
It feels
This is a very good point. Just to interject, like it's so fantastic that you've said Sancho feels like he's more in tune with what Maresca is wanting to do, whereas Pedro Neto, time will allow because he's too much of a quality player. But I think Sancho is more. I don't know whether you've noticed this. Sancho is more. he thrives on linking up. Like
Yeah, exactly.
he
And
he
Petronetto is
doesn't
more,
want to carry the ball all the time, even though he can. But
yeah,
he's more inclined to, I want to give and go. I want to give and go.
exactly. And it helps us. It helps our game. Petronetto feels like a more individual player, like more
Mm.
counter-attack individual player.
Do you
I'll
think
take on,
that's coming from Wolves, like being
yeah,
there?
I'll take on two players and cross it in. Or I like how he plays with Portugal. I'll take on two players, cross into Ronaldo. This and that. But with Sancho, it feels like, because Sancho is a kind of guy where he does not try to rely on his pace anymore, right? So what he does now, he really improved his link up
Link up.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to touch on Sancho a little bit. I won't touch on for too long, but I think that this player, man, when a player joins your team, right,
Mm.
you have to watch really two things. And this is how what is going to make you know if they have potential to perform well now or they'll take more time,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
The touch and the decision making. Because many times when a new player comes, they're so nervous or they're so under pressure that their touch is off. And with the touch being off, the decision making is off. Wrong
Yeah.
passes, wrong this and that. Man, every time Sancho gets the ball, the perfect touch, the perfect decision making.
What an assist for Cole Palmer. I think that
Yeah,
was the fourth goal, I believe, or the
yeah.
third goal. Fourth goal. Third goal was a
It's
oh
it's it's
free kick. Yeah.
it's almost like he doesn't have to do too much. He
Mm.
could
Mm.
literally just touch the ball twice and it makes such an impact. Very good player, man. I heard he just gets away from players, and I think he's gonna be huge. Like such a low cost signing. He's gonna be huge for us.
Look, first of all, I can't believe Man
Mhm.
United couldn't
Yeah,
find a space for. I just I'm baffled by that, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful, and this is why I always have this mad banter towards Man United. My only thing I would love to see from Sancho develop over the next few period. International break coming up, more matches after this. On the ball, Sancho is oof off the ball. Off the ball, there is room for improvement. If Sancho
Mhm.
wants to be that complete package player, and I understand there are players out there that are fantastic on the ball, not so great on the off the ball, but I don't want Sancho to be that type of a player. I don't want him to be that, simply good on the ball. That's it. I need you to be the complete package, Jadon Sancho. You can be.
Yeah,
You're young. Now that doesn't mean Sancho go running around like a headless chicken. No, that's not what I'm asking for. Get stuck in.
yeah,
Put your body on the line sometimes if you have to. A lot more
yeah,
robust. Now,
yeah.
I don't know, Ryan. Is that something that can be developed, or is that a nature of a player that is inbuilt, whether you have it or not? You
I
can't
mean,
really develop
I think I have to be careful with this one
that.
because it's all about the rules, right?
Yeah.
Because if you really think about it, I think that you remember that tactical analysis I do after Man City, like about
Mm-hmm.
for the first match of the season, where I said I was like, I really where Cole Palmer kind of stayed in midfield and won the ball there,
Mm.
whilst Madueke and I don't know if it's Madueke, but Nicholas Jackson and those guys were pressing forward, and then
Mm.
Nkunku was out wide to the left, collecting those long passes from Cole Palmer from midfield. If you could visualize that, and that's how we were finding space in behind Man City on the counter attack. I think we use that almost same tactic today. It was high press. Sancho was the man on the left, that free man, and then Cole Palmer getting the ball in deep areas, and just him and Enzo Fernandez launching balls in behind. So I think it's down to a role thing, because at the end
Fair
of the
enough.
day, if you have three players playing like pit bulls, who is the player you want to be the free man to actually have the ball in a place where they can link play?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Because
Yeah.
if three players are out of position pressing, then when you win the ball, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, there's no
So,
option then.
so I
Yeah.
feel I feel like when Madueke and Nicholas Jackson won the ball, they always had Cole Palmer and Sancho as outlets in the pockets to lay the
Yep.
ball off to.
Yep.
So I think it's something to see more of his role. But I would say when Sancho plays, it doesn't look like anything is missing in the front three.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I
No,
would
that's
say that.
true.
It
Because I
doesn't look
feel
like
like, yeah, go on. Sorry, Ryan.
no, it doesn't look like we're missing anything. As opposed to like, for example, when we take off Nicholas Jackson and Madueke, it looked like our whole attack was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, you're right. And I think that's a good way to look at it. Like maybe Sancho's not designed or even asked to do that type of press or that type of work rate off the ball. This is why we've got good support in the back line with Cucurella, um, and whoever else supporting that side, making sure that players like Sancho and Cole Palmer are given the freedom. So
Yeah.
it's a good way to look at it. I know you've got quite a few other topics to talk about. One
And
that I do want to talk about, obviously, we can talk about Cole Palmer. We need to praise Cole Palmer to the hills, right? I want to talk about Cucurella.
oh
This
my God, I was
guy,
not gonna say that, bro. I was not gonna bring him up because we
this
need to talk
guy,
about him. Unbelievable. What
Ryan. After
a
after
player, man.
Cole Palmer obviously single-handedly 4 goals in 20 minutes, hat trick in 10 minutes. Like this guy was just out of this world.
Yeah. But
But if I was to
Kukurea,
choose a second player after
man of the
that,
match.
brother, he where wasn't Cucurella, bro? Where wasn't he?
Yeah,
He was
bro.
literally everywhere.
You
He
the
was
amount of
covering
tackles this
ground.
guy won
But the
and
duels, the
the
tackles,
passes.
the passes, covering ground. In defense, he was the number one. And Ryan, he was everywhere. Midfield, left back, left LCB, whatever position you want him. Like, I can't believe, Ryan, this guy, we were moments away to getting rid of him last season. There was a deal that was accepted with Man United. I remember I sang Celine Dion's song, Celine Dion's the Titanic song when we signed him. I went crazy because I knew the level of play I saw in Brighton, and I was so upset that he was moments away to go to Manchester City, and luckily he came to us. And he was obviously a little bit iffy in the first year of the ownership, but the, there was so much wrong in the first year. I don't blame him. He was going through personal issues last season as well. Under Poch, it was a bit topsy turvy. Right at the end, when Cucurella started to invert, we could see the value. And now
That Euros changed them, bro.
the
That
Euros.
Euros.
But how good is this guy, bro? How good is this guy?
Bro, I tell you, I was not gonna bring him up. I
Mm.
had it in my notes here that
Yeah, I saw your
unbelievable.
notes.
Yeah, I had it in my notes. I'll share them with you. I'll send you a picture. Um, Unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. Wow. And I think that the tenacity he has, it fills other players with confidence too. That they
Yep.
want to rush into tackles. It sets an example. Some players set examples on the pitch. They
Yes.
set an example. And, that's irreplaceable, That is
Yep.
irreplaceable. And I think, I think with Kukurea
Mm.
and Nicholas Jackson and Madueke and these guys, the type of energy they bring to our team, it kind of reminds me of our club team. I'm not talking about
Mm.
quality here or tactics. I'm just talking about the tenacity of this team. I would
Yep.
say with these players, we'll talk about quality in the next minute, but this minute here, we're just so difficult to play against. We're
Mm.
just so difficult to play against. Kukurea, I think today, not only in winning the balls, but the passes were just perfect
Oh,
to
beautiful.
end. He won it, and sometimes he wins the ball and he's just so careless with the ball sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
This, for the past few games, and especially today, his head is screwed on and it felt like each pass from defensive players or deep line players had a purpose today.
Mm, mm.
It felt like our preparation for this match that everybody knew exactly what they had to do. They didn't have to think. That's the thing. Upon winning the ball, nobody had to think because they
Mm.
knew exactly where they had to pass that ball. And that goes down to coaching.
Yep.
What this is a well coached game.
Do you know
Well
what,
coached
Ryan?
game.
Cole Palmer post match said, "There's a quality team, but like I'm paraphrasing, he more or less what he tried to say was that we knew what their weakness were. Like there's a reason every time we won the ball deep in our half, boom, one pass either over the top or through the middle in behind their defense.
Yeah.
Because the homework was, and as you said, Enzo Maresca is not here to win the possession. He's here to win the game.
Yep.
And he's studied the opposition's flaws and he's honing in on those flaws. Cucurella's movements, Cucurella's passing, whoever else, even Enzo Fernandez in midfield, whenever he got the ball as well, he was looking for those
And so it was
passes.
good today. Pretty
Enzo,
good
look,
today.
and I want to talk to you about this in detail, right? Because I've got a different opinion. I'm pretty sure you've got a different opinion about this. But on the ball, Enzo was oof, brilliant. He was threading passes. He was finding those balls in behind the defense. What I want to ask you now, we talked about Cucurella, we talked about Jackson, talked about Madueke, talked about how Enzo Maresca, there was a plan they want to attack and they want to hit the opposition's flaws. Perfect, beautiful. Got 3 points. I just want to ask you, what is your thought process? Because this is where I feel like, is it horses for courses? Because against West Ham, I felt there was a little bit more control overall. Crystal Palace as well, first half, a little bit more control. Even though you didn't think that way, you felt like we need to work on a few things. But this match against Brighton, is it was it a tactic to have it as a basketball game, back and forth? Because the amount of times I saw Brighton play, especially Belieber, and there was another brother through the middle, can't remember, especially Belieber. The amount of times he would just easily drive through and then get into the heart of our defense. I was a bit annoyed by that. Like, why is it so easy? Why should he
Yeah, I
just
know.
find space so
I
easily?
totally.
Now is
Yeah.
that because we were playing Brighton and against a different team like Nottingham Forest next week? It will be different because Brighton like to create that type of a match where they play a high line, they press well, they build up well. They got players with good technical quality. They want to be able to open up the match a little bit more, play a bit of expansive game. Is that why it looked like it was a bit so easy to drive through our middle, or we generally have a problem in the middle?
Cool. You know, I know, well, you noticed it in the middle. I noticed it where why are so much of Brighton's attackers find it so easy to run in behind our defense? But then when you trace it back, it's why is it so easy for Brighton's midfielder to place that pass in behind our defense? So it's a two-way street here.
Mm,
Because I find also a lot of times where a striker will just run in behind Colwell or Fofana right between them and receive a
mm,
pass on goal. Like, why is this happening? And I think that naturally our midfield pivot
mm,
are not dealing with that pressure good enough. And thankfully, we have certain players in our
mm.
defense who have been doing very well to cover
Yep.
it up. Like we talked about how much times Cucurella won the ball today, but is he's supposed to win the ball so much,
Mm,
right?
mm.
Um, I think that with Enzo Fernandez, let us now talk about go around it here. Caicedo is
Yes.
amazing
Yes.
defensively, right? I
Yes.
think Caicedo is amazing balanced footballer. He's a good on
Yes.
the ball, good at passing defensive wise. With
Athletic.
Enzo, I think it's going to be a case where we just have to admit that Enzo is not going to give us the defensive coverage all by himself in the midfield,
Mm,
meaning that there will need to be some defensive adjustments made to ensure that Enzo has that support
mm,
in midfield and defense. And maybe that's why it's not why you see it because Enzo's Maresca's tactics is inverted fullbacks, but I do believe that the inverted fullbacks will help crowd the midfield a little bit, whether it's a Vega or Cucurella or Gusto, making
mm.
it a midfield three would help there. But then that brings the question, what we're gonna defend with our back three then? Because if one of our fullback is in midfield, you're gonna
Yeah.
go in a back three, and then Cole Palmer, we're not gonna count on him to come and be a central midfield defender guy,
Mm,
right?
mm.
Many of our attackers, they're so busy working their butts off, pressing up forward. So
Yes.
it goes to show that you're right, Miss. There is a defensive vulnerability when Enzo plays. And maybe it's very subtle. It might not be where he makes mistakes. You know how Georgie needs to get caught and needs to be like ridiculous comps where he's like
Yeah.
falling on the
Yeah.
ground and crawling and stuff and
Well, there
can't
was
run
one
and
where the
stuff.
referee was running straight past him.
Yeah. So it's not that obvious, but it's
Yeah.
little things. Why is that Brighton midfielder allowed to pass that ball there? Why wasn't that pass on line cut
Yeah.
fast enough? And it's
Yeah.
one of those things where you need to balance off what Enzo Fernandez brings. Is it worth having that in midfield?
This is the
Because,
question, isn't it? This is the
for
question.
example, for
Yeah.
Fabregas,
Yeah.
right? We have Fabregas in midfield. It would have been the same thing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But I think what was really good with Fabregas is that Mourinho made Fabregas's defensive responsibility very specific,
Correct.
where Mourinho gave him a job that you need to man mark here. Man
Yes.
mark this person here, and this is your boy to man mark. So
Yes.
Fabregas never had to cover so much ground. But
Mm.
how Enzo Maresca has his deep line midfielders is that they kind of zonally marking. It's
Correct.
who's ever have the ball, either Caicedo or Enzo decide to press in. Because remember, Mourinho used to try to do the old school way of one on one, like
Mm.
marking or show ups or whatever, right?
Yep.
And then, but Enzo is this new school thing of numerical advantages. The new
Mm.
school
Mm.
way of manager thinks, okay, we need to have a numerical advantage in midfield, this and that. But numerical advantages mean zonal marking. It doesn't mean one-on-one matchups like what
Mm.
Mourinho and Ancelotti and those guys would do. So
Mm.
a reason why a Fabregas would not be caught out is because they had their one-on-one marking job to do, and they would do it.
Yes.
And then when Fabregas got the ball, he was unbelievable, had a great impact on the game attacking wise with his passing. Now Enzo he's zonally marking. So that means that his defensive tactics doesn't help him and it exposes our team. And
Correct.
and when on the ball today, he showed that he could impact the game with his passing, but it was because it was counter-attacking.
That's right. That's right. This is why I
It
said in my
was,
preview, it's a good game for Enzo Fernandez because the opposition will allow him to play that way.
yeah, it was like a counter-attacking. But when it comes down to a mid or defensive block, and so has the ability to, but he doesn't impact the game enough to warrant that defensive
Next
instability.
weekend against Nottingham Forest will be a totally different scenario. Nottingham Forest don't play a high line.
Yeah, but is the solution a get Enzo out of here thing? Or is the solution is does Maresca need to fix this with Enzo in our team?
Very, very good question, Ryan. And this is where you just recently said, how do we balance this? How important is Enzo Fernandez? as opposed to the greater balance of the team. If we truly think and without Enzo Fernandez we can't operate, then my solution would be you have to play with Levi Colwell's LCB, Tosin as CCB, Wesley Fofana as RCB. Cucurella off the ball becomes a left back. On the ball, he becomes inverted. And that's where Cucurella at times, you'll see him in funny areas playing as a number 10, sometimes inside the box, which will then allow for Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo to be a little bit deeper. And Enzo will have the protection of Levi Colwell, Tosin right behind, and Wesley Fofana in the RCB position. Now, if you don't think Enzo's quality is that important, then I think Romeo Lavia, and this is the big question, if he can be fit or not, Romeo Lavia is athletic just as much as Caicedo, can cover the ground a lot in your zonal marking analysis that you said. The Maresca wants zonal in midfield. We have seen Romeo Lavia pre-season and the first game against Manchester City, he was the best midfielder that we had. Covers a lot of ground, making a lot of interceptions, breaking down the play, winning a lot of duels. The other thing that we did see from Romeo Lavia is good passing range.
Wait, the thing is to know that when Lavia comes into that midfield, he isn't the Enzo Fernandez replacement. Actually, Caicedo is the Enzo replacement.
He comes
the deep line DM.
Yes.
Because Lavia in that Man City game was the regista, basically. He was by the CBs, linking up play well, getting us out in transitions, this and that, right?
Yes.
It was actually Caicedo who had a really great vertical impact on the game. I think it's just to the extent, to what extent do we need a deep line playmaker like Enzo? Because, like when we had our last crop of players like Havertz and Mount and Pulisic, we know we were cooked with creativity. Like we were absolutely cooked. We needed Enzo Fernandez so badly because we're not going to get any through balls from Mount, from Havertz, from Pulisic. It was dead. It was like a cemetery. It was the cemetery for attacking football and progressive play and happiness, right? And but with our players now, it feels like with Cole Palmer and those vertical passes, with Sancho, with even Jackson dropping in deep and doing those vertical passes to Madueke, etc. Even like with Gusto getting there and Cucurella and Caicedo, it feels like everybody, adds in to that vertical play to the point where we might not need to count on an Enzo to do all that vertical playing again. So it goes down to also the question, how much verticality do we need from our central midfielders? Do we need them to be a Fabregas, or could we split the responsibility and have everybody doing just enough?
And this is the thing that Enzo Maresca's got to figure out. I personally think we don't need a Fabregas type. The way Enzo Maresca has been playing in these early stages, it almost feels like he's happy to share the load. Like Caicedo's pause. Like it's almost as if he's quite okay with the ability of Caicedo on the ball. He's quite okay with the ability of Cucurella on the ball. He's okay. Like he's very, very
He's
fine.
very Liverpool, no? Like Henderson, Fabinho, these like all of them were good enough vertically. But none of them were Iniesta or Xavi.
Exactly. It's almost as if Enzo Maresca is saying, I don't really need that. My game isn't about that. If the game was about that, then
Or maybe
You know,
our game is about that. That's why we have six players doing it at once rather than need one player to do it all by himself.
correct, correct. Because we got players that can split open a defense
Yeah, like
at any time.
Vega, that vertical pass to João Felix. Simple.
Exactly. Caicedo against West Ham, beautiful ball straight through,
Yeah.
finding Nicholas Jackson. Sancho can find a good ball. Cole Palmer.
It does feel good, yeah, that we
Oh,
no longer play that sideways pass to the corner flag and back and then sideways again. Like we literally just play through teams, whether it works or not. Our
beautiful,
intent is always to play through.
beautiful,
So good.
beautiful. But yeah, it is another one of those really, really good discussions where we'll see how it all progresses. I
But
do
he is
want
our
to.
captain. He
That's the
is
other big thing. He is the captain. So, um, how much can you take him away? But I get this feeling, Ryan, from the press conferences that you hear what Enzo Maresca is saying. It's almost as if he would prefer a Caicedo Lavia pivot. The way he talks about Lavia and his skill set. And he goes, I like that. I like that in midfield. And I think the combination of that with Caicedo will be good. It's just a matter of Lavia actually being fit, which is the biggest question mark. Hopefully, he can stay fit. We have to talk about Cole Palmer, Ryan. We have to. 51 minutes in. We
four
talked
goals.
about so many other big topics, of course, but Cole Palmer is something we
Could have
cannot
had five.
ignore. Uh-huh. Yeah, oh,
He could have had five.
I think he could have five in the first half. He missed one before he scored the four. Remember that? He hit the post.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then in the second half, he missed one as well.
Wow.
So he could have six. And he could have three assists. All three for Nicholas Jackson and one for Madueke, I believe. This guy, Ryan, you remember what I told you this when we kicked this podcast back again, the That's Life podcast a couple of months ago, start of the season. I said that what I really like about Cole Palmer is, Ryan, this guy's never satisfied, He's never like
Yeah.
2 goals, not my job. I'm gonna take it easy. I'm gonna nap. Take a nap now. Others can take this guy two. No, two's not enough. Three. No, three's not enough. Four. No. Four is definitely not enough. Fives. This guy has a machine mentality, Ryan.
Yep.
He's not normal, bro.
Cold blooded.
He is not human to a certain point. He's never satisfied.
What a player, man. We've got
But
a
this
generational player on our hand.
this guy, he glides through the field, number one. His pace is so deceptive. Clinicality, clutch when he needs to be, full of attitude as well. When he scored that penalty, he straight away went to the crowd and said, "We got this. Calm. We got this." Post-match interview, he's like, "We knew how to get them. We knew their flaws." And that free kick, Ryan, that was
What
audacious, bro.
yo?
No, that was
We
audacious.
talked about that last part, no? When last we scored a free kick.
Exactly. When was the last time we scored like a set piece goal? That was audacious, Ryan.
This guy, man, is a 20
The-
goal a season guy. He's already quarter way there. He's 6 goals already.
Bro, and it's not just about goals. He produces assists.
6 goals for assists.
It's a mad thing, man. It's a mad thing. Like, a lot of people said that to believe that he's gonna try and replicate last season is a bit too much. But I won't be surprised if he surpasses that
Yep.
because it's probably a better team with a better setup. Ryan, for me, this guy is a $250 million player, man. This guy is literally a 250 million player. 250 million
Wow.
pounds. 250 million
Yo,
pound
you
player.
know what, people, I hate that, there's certain clubs in England where if you're a young player, young
Mm,
English player, if you're in certain clubs, they will stroke you and make you seem like the best thing ever. And then in some
mm,
clubs, for example, like Chelsea, the media
mm,
will never give the plaudits to a young player from
mm,
Chelsea and this and that. Whereas if it's from Liverpool or United or Arsenal, this and that, they'll get it.
mm.
Um, I think that whereas in other leagues or other clubs, how they talk about Yamal and they talk about these other guys and before that other guy from Bayern Munich and those
Mm.
young players, they cap them off to be some of the best players in the world. Let me
Yep.
tell you, Cole Palmer is better than each and every one of them.
Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. And I don't understand why the media don't but
Yeah,
talk to him about being he's probably one of the best, if not the best player right
no,
now.
and he's not. And last season, he was one of the best players, best young players in the world. Let me
Mm.
tell you, this guy is one of the best players in the world. Not young, old, but
Yeah.
he's one of
Yeah.
the best players in the world. Name one player who you would take in your team over Cole Palmer.
Not
There's
too
not
many,
one
bro.
player I would take from any club. I wouldn't take Vinicius. I wouldn't take any of these guys to come instead of Cole Palmer.
He's
What a player!
probably, if not greater level than all of these players.
Yep.
Like, tell me which team Cole Palmer doesn't get into now, whether it be Premier League, whether it be La Liga, whether it be French Liga. Like, tell me,
I have
tell,
not felt this way about a player since Eden Hazard, but I
Hazard. Yeah.
wouldn't compare him to that type of player. I would say he feels like an Iniesta,
Yeah.
but he feels like an Iniesta with a goal machine mentality like Frank
Correct.
Lampard.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, but the thing is, his the way he scores goals, his mentality for goals is like Frank. But the way
Mm.
he scores goals is not like entering late into the box and scoring
No.
that way. The way he scores goals is like a second striker.
Yeah.
The way he
Yeah.
scores goals is literally running in behind on 1-2s and link up play and scoring as a striker with like
Correct.
a Dybala or something like a second striker,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Yeah.
So all of a sudden we got this Iniesta like machine in midfield and in the wing, but and when he comes down to the final third, he feels like a second striker,
A
like a
second striker. Yeah.
Dybala kind of player. It's insane. And then okay, defensive wise, he's not a central midfielder, but when he receives the ball in deep central midfield, he kind of passes, he plays in behind. Like we talk so much about his finishing and this and that, and his dribbling and gliding, but bro, his passes from deep line midfield is amazing. This guy is. I have not seen a player like this in football since a generation with truly gifted players like Modric and these kind of guys. Modric and these guys.
But you talk about all of these brilliant facets. I want to add one more. How many times have you seen how he sneaks in and intercepts the ball?
Mm-hmm. What
I
a
don't know whether
player,
it was
man.
the whether it was his third or fourth goal just before that. He's just in between the two defenders, and Brighton's trying to build up, and he senses the next pass where it's going to go. Boom, he's there. He's intercepted it. Even in defense, he doesn't come across someone who's a physical monster, like imposing history. He just reads the game so well. It's like he
Yeah.
knows where you're going to pass. It's like he's already read there's two players there, there's two players here, got Chelsea players
Oh,
here and there.
how is he so good at such a young age?
But it's like he's already read there's only one place where you're going to pass, and I'm going to be there. The pass comes in,
Oh,
Cole Palmer steals the ball.
yeah,
But do you know what level of computing you need to do when you're in the field to assess where the opposition could pass?
yeah,
It's incredible. It's incredible, man. This guy,
yeah,
run. Our club needs to do something serious.
yeah. Yeah,
Our
like
club
give him
needs to win.
a 15-year contract. Like
No,
try
no, I mean,
something.
this guy is not about. Look, money is not going to be the problem for this guy. Whether
Trophies.
it's whether it's Chelsea, whether it's another team, money ain't going to be the problem. Soon people will throw money, right? That's not the problem.
Yeah.
He'll make a ton of money. The problem will be he comes across an individual that is not going to stay quiet without trophies for too long.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people can say, but means
Oh
he's only
yeah.
won a lot of trophies at Man City.
Yeah. By the way, I'll take Cole Palmer over Bellingham any day in my team
Oh,
too.
yeah, of
So
course.
all of this Bellingham cover, FIFA and this and that and Real Madrid guy and everybody saying he's the best young talent ever in the world and this Cole Palmer. That's all I'll say. But sadly, he plays for a team that is in the Conference League. But let's get back to Earth now. I'm bringing it back to
Yeah,
Earth. I'm bringing it back to Earth, Miss.
come
Because
on.
at the end of the day, we feel good.
Hmm?
We've beat West Ham, we beat Brighton, and can't forget Barrow, beaten
We
Barrow,
beat
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth, West Ham, Barrow, Brighton.
But we have one more Premier League match. Obviously, we have the Conference League match too coming up, but one more Premier League match against Nottingham Forest. We need to win, make that, and we'll keep ourselves in the top four coming down to our international break. But Miz, I'm not going to smile yet. Why?
Same.
Because the real test of this season is to come. The real test of
After
this
the
season
international break.
is after international break will
Yes.
show us if we are a top four battling team or if we are
Fifth or
just
sixth.
good old Chelsea in the mud on the Todd Bowley and Igbali. The good old Chelsea having
Yeah.
meltdowns every day on the other side, coin, this and that. Are we? Because if I read this, I have it here. It's scary to think about. Let me call it up.
Mm.
We have Liverpool. I'm talking Premier League here.
Yes.
Liverpool. Then the next week, Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Then the
Yeah.
next week, Man United. Then the
Yes.
next week, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Then the next
And
week,
we have Newcastle in between again. Carabao Cup.
yep, Newcastle. And then Leicester, which is not going to be easy too.
Mm.
That is, but forget Leicester, right? Finnish club, right?
Mm. Mm.
But Liverpool, Newcastle, Man United, Arsenal is
Woo!
if we could exit that little phase into that international break, like after those matches into the
Mm.
international break, if we could enter into December in the top four, I will say we have turned the corner of this atrocious two
Mm.
years and a half.
Yes.
If we do
Yes.
not turn that corner and we get two losses, one draw, one win, I will be like, Miz,
Ah,
we are just the good old Todd Bowley and Egg Bally, Chelsea in the mud, Johnny Minerals, all these, like all the memories will just come back, right?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All the
Yeah. Yeah.
live streams I've watched will just come back. But we if we win these matches and maybe draw
Mm.
one of them, this and that, but if we try not to lose any of them, right, and we come out still in the top four into December, I will say, man, bring on Champions League football. We have turned that corner.
When you look at those fixtures, Liverpool, Newcastle, Man United, Arsenal. Man United is a must.
Yeah, but we always say
They,
that, but we always never win against them.
I know, but that's the team we can't lose, and I don't even think draw's good.
But
Then,
it's like a
then
bogey team for us.
yeah, but they're not playing good football. We need to. But FC 20 is taking points. So
Yeah.
if we do the maths here, 3 points hoping over there. I know Newcastle. I think it's Newcastle away as well, isn't it?
Yep.
Maybe Newcastle home. Maybe Newcastle home
No,
again.
Newcastle home. It's home. It's
So
Liverpool away.
so 3 points Newcastle at home. I'm banking on that. 3 points against Man United. I'm banking on that. If we can
No,
manage a draw
Arsenal,
against
Liverpool,
Liverpool,
bro.
yeah, draw. Like if we can get a draw, no problems. You can sneak a win. Liverpool very deceptive after the international break. We saw what happened against Nottingham Forest. Arsenal was going to be tough. I'll happily take 2 wins and 2 draws from those
Romans,
fixtures.
whew, I just getting hard to breathe watching those fixtures, man, because our first one back is Liverpool. You know that could actually set the tone. If we
Yes.
win against Liverpool, man, we would go into Newcastle and Man United feeling like champions.
Mm,
If we win Liverpool, I think we win Newcastle, Man United, and then whatever happens against Arsenal, we're still in top four.
yeah. We can do the
I,
job. It's just a matter of how do we come back after the international break? What type of mindset we're gonna
yeah,
have?
I hope nobody gets
Mm,
injured, this and that, no
That's number
injuries.
one.
Yeah,
But
hopefully
before
Laporte
that,
doesn't go
Ryan,
missing for 8 months again.
before
Um,
that, I don't even want to think about all of that as yet. We still have Nottingham Forest
we can't forget Nottingham Forest, bro.
because we don't get 3 points there. All of this conversation that we're having post international break is don't make sense. Got to get the 3 points against Nottingham Forest at home, Stamford Bridge. It's not going to be the
But
same game as Brighton. High line. It'll be different.
it,
It'll be different.
I would start to wrap it up on this note, though. It
Mm,
feels good to where we feel like each match has a purpose.
yes.
It's like I know, like Chelsea, Nottingham Forest. Like last season, I wouldn't wanna. I'm not looking forward for that shit, bro. Like if I have a podcast with Miz, maybe I'll watch it, right? We don't need to
Mm,
talk about it, right? But
mm,
it's like because it was so demoralized and it was so in the mud. It didn't feel like we had purpose,
yeah.
right? But it just feels like I can't wait to watch a Nottingham Forest game because I know that 3 more points brings us closer to where we want our Chelsea to be.
Mm,
And I haven't felt that feeling as a fan in about since Tuchel was it.
mm,
So bring it on, bring on Nottingham Forest, get that 3 points, and let's. And my whole thing is that we always thinking about this season. I'm just like, get me to December. What December? Our first fixture in December. Let me see. Is December 1st against Aston Villa. Get
mm,
me to December 1st against Aston Villa in the Premier League in the top four. Get me to before
mm,
Christmas, like December 1st. That's my goal. I'll say it on the podcast. My goal is December 1st in the top four. And then
mm.
after that, we can recalibrate. Because you never know. You never know where in the top four is. Right now, we would take being fourth place. But you just never know where you could be in the top four. It could be third, it could be second. You never know.
100%, bro.
So
100%. Not this
that's
season.
my goal, bro.
The
But this is
season's
like
passing up.
so important, bro. This after international break, I feel nervous, and I don't know why I haven't felt nervous for a Chelsea string of games. We need to win. I woke up this morning because it's the time and it was 10 a.m. The match was
Mm.
my time, so I woke up feeling a buzz, bro. Like I woke up, I went down, got a coffee from Starbucks, this and that under my apartment. Like, you know how long I didn't feel buzzed to like put on Chelsea because I knew that 3 points it shows us where we are on that corner if we
Yeah.
actually turn in a corner or not. So
Yep.
yeah, bro.
No, 100% agree with you, man. I can't wait for that Nottingham Forest game. Buzzing. We've got the Conference League game in between, so hopefully a lot more feel good factor for the rest of the squad. I feel like it will be quite a bit rotated. Players like João Felix will probably get an opportunity not playing in that match.
And
Um,
I would say this, what I really like, I would add to,
mm,
we didn't talk about, we never talk about it, but I love the continuity. Not only our front three is getting, our 11, but it's
yes,
so important that our back four is getting that continuity. I
yes,
feel like there's becoming an understanding between Cucurella and Caldwell and Fofana and Gusto now. The
yes,
players play every single match together. I think
yes,
that as much as we have so much talent, I'm just happy to see that we're not chopping and changing
mm,
and chopping. Like Enzo Maresca, like he believes in what he wants. He
mm,
believes in who he think is best for that 11.
mm,
And you know what? If you make a mistake, like keep your chin up because
Yes.
I feel like he said Misha is Misha, right?
Mm.
Oh, which is cool, but he got his chance again today. But I
Yeah.
think what he does do is that people will say that Enzo Maresca is cutthroat and this and that and wherever you want to say negative about his antics or how he talks. But
Yeah.
I would say that he gives a kind of faith to his players because when Madueke turned things around with that hat trick, he gave him a run of 5 games, five
Mm.
games after that, which under Pochettino, he probably would never really get that run or any other
Mm.
manager before that. They would have given him 2 games if he failed, bring in this guy.
Yep.
Even Jackson, he kept a faith in him. And so much players in our team that even if they make mistakes, he keeps a faith in them and he backs them. And we're starting to see little fruits of it. It's not perfect because we walked in this podcast today talking about how disappointed we are in that Jackson misses. But I walked away thinking about I get a preview for that last 20 minutes how life is without Jackson. I
Mm.
didn't like what I saw in that front three. I didn't like seeing Nkunku with front row seats walking around with his hair bouncing. I didn't like I like seeing Jackson wrestling there and throwing himself on the floor and quarreling and I'm glad that he put his shirt on his face and I walked off because I see this guy looked like he wanted to
Mm.
cry walking off the field. We were 4-2 and he looked like he wanted to cry. I love
That
that from my player.
that I have to say, I liked that the fact that he was hurting. He
Yep.
himself knew
He cares, man.
I squandered, like I should have gobbled up a lot of chances here. The fact that he self self awareness is so important, right? The fact that he was aware that, boy, how'd I let that go? I think that will humble him and make him be a better player next time around.
Yeah,
If
man.
he didn't
He's a
show
good
that
player
level
and
of
then
awareness and he was just laughing and giggling and walking off,
yeah, and hugging the other player after the match and stuff.
yeah, he was hurting. And I hope he uses that hurt as a driver to ensure that he puts chances away next time. And
Yo, if this guy could get his finishing, what a player he would be, man.
everyone said
Dangerous player.
he's got everything. He just gets the finishing. He becomes Chelsea's probably after Cole Palmer. He's becomes the next best player.
He's a complete player. I mean, I sang his praises enough tonight. I won't repeat it again, but
Mm.
we just have to. I hope he gets managed good. I think Enzo is managing him really good. I think I mean, maybe we could close off on this. I think Enzo is man managing really good.
I agree.
These
I agree.
players, not only man managing really good, where they the 11 he's picking, he's showing them confidence,
Mm.
and even his substitutes, he's showing them that their time will come. The time will
Mm.
come. But he's given the 11 a chance. He's given them a good chance, man. And that's what you need to do with young players too. Give them the ability to grow chemistry and to learn the game and learn from their mistakes and fail and try again next month. They didn't get down that part. For all the people who said Pochettino was really good at man managing and I was like a friend to the players, and I think Enzo Maresca man managed better than him.
Oh, of course.
And
And I love the fact.
for
Go on, bro.
yeah, what you said? What you gonna say?
I was going to say, I love the fact that he said recently, yeah, we're young, but we're serious. I
Yeah,
love that, bro. I love that.
we are serious. And I would say one thing, a next thing I like about Enzo Maresca is that he prepares for games. Sometimes we didn't have European football and Poch would have 7 days or even a whole international break for a game and we'd go into the game and I'd watch it and be like, did we even prepare? Like, I don't mind that I see a plan, but at least I see it and we fail. But I used to go and watch and see no plan, no plan. And with Enzo Maresca, I see a plan. I
That's
see
true.
studies. We see where we're going to hurt the teams. We see preparation. And for these young players, every time they receive the ball, they know what they're going to do because they were told of it and they saw footage of it and they know exactly. Man, I praise 4 games in a row, 4 wins. We have to praise it, man. And
100%.
bring on, we
100%.
have 2 more. Let's make it 6-6 and go strong.
Oof, that would be nice. That would be nice. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap things up. Once again, it's been an absolutely action-packed podcast. That's Life Podcast. We're back. Fantastic. We'll be back again. Ryan, thank you so much for your time. To all the people that are watching
bro.
this, comment below any particular, part of the podcast that you felt that you agreed, disagreed. Put it down in the comment section. Smash up the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Ryan's socials are in the description as well, so follow him too. And on that note, we shall see you guys again next time. Hopefully, as Ryan said, 6 out of 6 victories is upon us, moving into the next international break. Until next time, everyone, take care. See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.